Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Ahmed Chehade. I'm a business analyst in Odoo. And it's a pleasure for me to explain to you and to present to you how we can easily manage a service company by using Odoo. So I will not spend a lot of time to explain to you why it is really important to have a good and fast system. I think it is really obvious for all of you. Just imagine you would like to create a project, you would like to create an invoice linked to this project, timesheets in order to control the time spent by your employees, you would like to create an expense and to link into the project, and so on and so on. And just imagine that you do it manually or by using a system in which the data are not linked amongst themselves. You will totally decrease your productivity. So my goal today is to convince to you that the Odoo is the perfect tool to use if you want to manage a service company. In this drawing, we can see that the main idea of Odoo is the fact that all the applications are fully integrated. That means that all the data are connected. Here, for example, in our case, we have the project application. That is the heart of our flow. And several applications turn around this application. We have the sales application, help desk, timesheets, invoicing, expense, and so on. And in this drawing, we can see that if I carry out any action in the expense application, there will be an impact in the project application. If I create a sale order in the sales application, I will have an impact in the project application and in the invoice app, and so on. So all the data are connected. Concretely, what are the measures that concern our flow? We have the sale orders. So for example, if we create a sale order, we can automatically create a new project with a new task or several tasks. We have the timesheet in order to control the time spent by the employees. We have the cost per hour per employee. That is an important cost that we have to take into account when we analyze and when we calculate the profitability of a project, as well as the expenses. And then also the forecast, how we can allocate the time in the future for our employee by project, by task. And what are finally the goals of our flow? We would like to increase the customer satisfaction, but also to increase the profitability of the project. You will see that by using Odoo, manage a service company has never been so easy. I will show you now. Let's begin directly with the use case. OK. In order to do that, first I will show you how we can configure a product, because it is, in many examples, in many cases, it is the starting point. First of all, for sure, we have to put the product type as a service. And then, in the sales tab, we have three new settings. We have the service invoicing policy. That means the several ways that you would like to that you will use in order to create an invoice. You can create an invoice based on the timesheet on the task. You can create an invoice based on the ordered quantities. I will show you the different ways. And the second setting is the service tracking. For example, okay, I create a sale order, I confirm the sale order, and now I have a new project with one or several new tasks. We can create a project but without task. We can also create a task in an existing project. I will show you everything also. And the third setting is the re-invoice policy. That concerns only the expensed product, the product that could be expensed. And it is also important because I will show you, we can now in version 12, we can link an expense to a project, and then we can analyze the profitability and see that there is an impact on the profitability of my project. I will begin with the first use case. And for my use case, I will take a really easy example. Let's imagine we open a new company, and my service is strategy and management consulting. I advise the customers for their strategy and their management. I will create a first product. Strategy consulting. And for my first use case, I decide to invoice my customer based on the timesheets on the task. And I would like to create a task in a new project. Here, the project templates, it's also a new feature in version 12. We can, if you have an existing project, you can say, okay, I can specify this project in this product, and in this way, I say to Odoo, if I create a new project, I would like that the feature of my new project has the same features than the project that I specify here. The third setting is only for the expenses. And here I will put the unit of measure hour. That means that if I put here a sales price, for example, 100 euros, my sales price is per hour. So when I will invoice, each hour timesheeted will cost for the customer 100 euros. I can save. Then I will create a new sale order. Yeah, customer one. I'm not really original. Add the products. And I will take my strategy consulting product. And I put an ordered quantity 10. I would like to order 10 hours of this consulting. We will see that there is no impact on the invoice because I say to Odoo that my strategy consulting product, for this product, I would like to invoice based on the timesheet on the task. I confirm the sale order. And here, as you can see, we have two new tabs above. We have the project overview, and we have a look at the task. Let's have a look first at the project overview that has been now created automatically. We have here three tables. At the left side, we have the kind of time that will be timesheeted on my task. The first line, timesheeted, is when I timesheet on a task, and this task is linked to a sale order, and there will be an impact to the invoice, on the invoice that I will create for my customer. The time that I will work on the task will be recorded in this line. If for example, I have a prepaid pack, so I say I would like to create an invoice based on the ordered quantities, the time that I will record, the time that I will work on the task will not have any impact on the invoice, not directly, so it will be recorded in the fixed billable time. Then we have also two other lines, no task found, and non-billable. The non-task found is when you create a project, when you timesheet on a project, but without specifying the task. So Odoo will say you, okay, there is an error here, you have to specify the task. I will show you. And we have also the non-billable line. If you timesheet on a task, but this task is not linked to a sale order item, so it is not billable, we cannot invoice it. The second table just takes the same data of the first one, but in percentage, is the rate. And the third one, the profitability, is the most important, takes into account everything that's the cost, the invoice, and so on. So for example, if you create an expense, and if you link this expense to the project, you will see here, it's a new feature in version 12, you will see here this cost in order to better calculate the profitability. Let's now go to the task. I will create a timesheet. Okay, here I have in my database 3 employees, newcomer, junior consultant, and senior consultant. And for each of them, I have set a cost per hour. If I go to the employee form, here, yeah. Okay. On the employee form, I am able to put a timesheet cost. That means what I have to pay to my employee when he timesheet on a task. For example, here, 50 euro per hour for this employee, and I say, okay, this employee has worked 2 hours on this task. If we go back to the overview, we see here 2 hours on the timesheet line. We can see here we have different colors. Billable fixed, the blue line. The orange line says that it is the billable time, and then green and gray for the 2 other lines. And if I click on this orange line, I can have a look at the timesheets that I have recorded. Then, here in the profitability table, we have the 200 euro, because I have said that 100 euro is the sales price per hour timesheeted. And because I have said that this employee, the cost per hour is 50 euros, and he has timesheeted 2 hours, we have here minus 100 euros. And the profitability, the total amount here. Let's imagine now that an employee timesheets on the project, but doesn't specify the task. He says, let's imagine 1 hour. Oh. Okay, and we will see in the project overview, if we go back to the project overview, sorry, I have this not recorded. Okay, if we go back now to the project overview. Okay, now here I have 1 hour in no task found, and I can click on the green line in order to correct this and specify the task and then resave. If I go back to the overview, now we have the 3 hours in the timesheet line. Everything is in the orange line. Everything is correct. I can now create an invoice from the project overview. And as you can see, I have ordered 10 hours, but here we have only 3 hours because I have timesheeted 3 hours. And can validate, go back to the overview, and we have now the 300 euros in the invoiced line. Let's go back now to the sales application in order to create a new product. I would like now to create a product, for example, accounting, consulting, okay. And now, I will say that I would like to have an invoice policy. I would like to create an invoice based on the ordered quantities, and sorry for this bug. Okay, I will. Okay, I would like to create an invoice based on the ordered quantities, and for this flow, I would like to create a task in an existing project. We can create the project here directly. I will say I will give the same name than the product, accounting consulting. Okay, I can save my product. I go back to the sale order. I create a new one. I order 10 hours, and then I can go, like previously, to the project overview of my project. And from this project overview, I can also go to the task here, accounting consulting. I will, like previously, timesheet on this task. I will change a bit. I will take the junior consultants. And I will timesheet 5 hours on this task. When I go back to the overview, I have now 5 hours timesheeted and recorded in the fixed line, in blue, billable fixed. But as you can see, the invoice is not impacted by these timesheets. The invoice, if we create a new invoice now, will take the 10 hours that I have ordered on the sale order. If I validate it, like in the first use case, I have now the 1,000 euro here in the invoice line, and I can have a look at the profitability of my project. Let's go back to the presentation. So I will make a really quick summary. In the first case, we have said that I would like to create an invoice based on the timesheet on the task. So we have here 10 hours on the first line, on the timesheet line, and then below we have 2 orange line. That means that we have recorded in the time that I have spent on the task are billable. In the second use case, I have said that I would like to create an invoice based on the ordered quantities and not on the timesheet. And then we have a blue line that say that means that I have timesheeted on the task, but this time is fixed billable time, not billable time, and the invoice will not be impacted by this timesheet. So. Other flows that I would like to show you before to continue with the new features in version 12. I would like to show you how we can set manually quantity on the order, forecast a project, and how we can also link a ticket to a project. So first of all, we go back to the product. We will create a new product. Let's imagine that you have your great project, and in this project we will have several steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and so on. And you don't want to create an invoice based on the time, not on the nor on the timesheets, never on the ordered quantities. I will create a new product. For example, milestone. I will specify that I would like to create a new project but without task. And in this way, I can manage like I want my project. I can say, okay, when I have the project, I will create several phases, several tasks in those phases, and then I will timesheet on the task. Okay, I create now a new sale order. Let's imagine that we have 5 steps in our project. I confirm the sale order, and then I can go to the project overview directly. And if we go to the project application, we don't have any task. We can create the different phases. You can manage it like you want. Okay. Task 1. Task 2, and we can drag and drop in order to, for example, put the second task in the second phase. And I will timesheet on the first task. For example, 2 hours. I go back to the overview, and now I have a new blue line because, like I have said previously, this will not be this will not have an impact on the invoice that I will create, because I have decided to create myself the invoice. I will myself set the quantity on the order. So these 2 hours are recorded in the fixed line here. Then, if I go back to the sales application, and I take this sale order, I can directly edit, and I say that, okay, my first step is finished. I can create an invoice here, based only on the delivered quantities. One quantity, the sales price, the unit price is 100 euro. I validate, and I don't take into account the timesheets on the task. Okay, now I will show you how we can forecast a project. If I go back to the project, here, for example, accounting consulting. Here we have a look at the year 2018, but you can also, if you configure, you can also say to Odoo that I would like to have a view on by day or by month or by year or by week. In this case, we have by months, January, February, and so on. And I will create a forecast. I will say, okay, my senior consultants in October, further in the months, will work in the accounting consulting project in this task. I save, and then I can set manually. Let's say, for example, 4 hours. So I say here that these consultants will work on this task 4 hours in October. If I go back to the project overview, so we have here the forecasted column, 4 hours, and we can also have if you want, make a comparison between what was done and what is forecasted, and also what was sold and what is forecasted and what is done. So you can have a look at these differences here in the table directly. Now I will show you quickly how we can link a ticket to a project. We can go to the help desk application. We create a new ticket. Let's imagine that, for example, you work on the accounting consulting project, and there's a problem, and the customer would like to come back to you in order to ask anything. Okay, ticket accounting. And you can here link the ticket to a project. And when you specify the project, the task will automatically be specified if there is just one task. For example, still, voilà. I have chosen this project, and because I have just one task in this project, we have this task automatically specified. And I will timesheets on this task. So you can see here the integration between helpdesk, timesheet, and project. I will timesheets on this task. I will say that the senior consultant has worked 1 hour on this task. If we go back to the project overview, we have here in the box, we are able to click on the ticket and to access to the tickets directly. And we can, in the overview, see that 1 hour is recorded in the timesheet line because we can also invoice it, because it is also a billable time. And now we can, again, create a new invoice based on this hour that we have worked now. So let's begin with the new features. I have spoken about several new features, but now we have 2 new great features in version 12. We can now make a link between the expense and the project. We could do it in the previous versions, but now we can see directly in the project's overview the impact on the profitability. It is totally new, and we can also now create a sale order from a project. So in the previous version, we could create a sale order, and from this sale order, we create automatically a project, a task, and so on. But we couldn't create a sale order from a project. But it is really usual in the business world. We can, for example, create a grid project. This grid project is linked to a specific service, and then we would like to create a sale order based on this project. I will show you how we can do them now. First of all, I will create a new expense. Let's imagine you would like to go to this customer, and in order to go to this customer, you have to fill petrol. And you would like to re-invoice this to the customer. I choose petrol. In this product, I have specified that it could be expensed. If I don't specify this, I cannot choose this when I create an expense. And I have put a cost by default 20 euro. So by default, the 20 euro here is set. Okay. And I don't have to forget to link this ticket to an expense. Sorry, to a sale order. So I link to this sale order, I save. And here we have also a small new feature in version 12. We can attach a document. We could do it in the previous version, but now it is more, it is more visual. It's more high in green and so on, so we can do it easily. What is important now, we can create a report. It's the same flow than the previous version. The manager approve, and then he can post the journal entries in the general ledger. And when it is done, we can go back to the project overview. And we can see here that 2 new lines are added in the profitability of my project. I have paid 20 euros for this petrol, but because I have said that I would like to re-invoice this expense to the customer, I have a new line, re-invoice cost, with this amount, 20 euros. So I have a look at the details of this expense. Now, how we can create a sale order from a project? Just imagine, okay, you would like to make an audit, a financial audit, and we know that when you make an audit for a customer, you will make a lot of things. For example, you will identify risk, you will make a testing, you will make a reporting, and so on. But when you sell this service to the customer, the customer just want to see one line in the sale order, just not all the lines. So, for example, a certification of the account. So, in this case, I will just first create my product that I would like to sell to my customer. I would like to timesheet, to create an invoice based on the timesheet on the task. Okay, I go back to the project overview. I create a new project, audit. For example, we have two phases in this project. And we will create 3 steps, for example, 3 tasks. The first one, identify risk. The second one, testing. And then reporting. And I will say that the testing and the reporting are on the phase 2. So you can, like I have previously shown, you can manage like you want your project, your task. Then I will create several timesheets. Okay, for example, the first timesheet, the senior consultants have worked 2 hours in this project. We will add a new line and say that the junior consultants has already worked 2 hours in this task. And then I will say that, for example, the newcomer, I have a newcomer in my company, and he has worked in the testing. For example, 1 hour. We can save, so we have 3 profiles, 3 employees, and 3 timesheets. Then, when we go back to the project, as you can see here, we have created a sale order. Here we have 2 hours for the senior consultant, 2 hours for the junior consultant, and 1 for the newcomer in gray. That means in non-billable time, because we didn't link this project to a sale order. So I will create now a sale order, and we have here 2 billing types. We can make a sale order at the project rate. That means we will choose a service, for example, our certification of account, and I will have 1 line in my sale order, and I will just specify what is the unit price of this sale order. Exactly the same than when I create a sale order in order to create a project. I will show you now how we can create a sale order based on the timesheet by employee, at employee rates. We can here, it is new in version 12, we can here create a mapping between an employee and the service. I will just specify the customer. Okay, here I will, because I have 3 profiles and the 3 employees have timesheeted on my task, I will make the mapping for the 3 employees. And say, for example, for this employee, I will ask 150 euros because the cost per hour is high. Then for the second employee, the same service, I will ask 120 euros, and for the third one, a newcomer, the cost per hours is lower, so I will ask 100 euro. And then I can create a sale order. And here you can see 3 lines. Why? Because we have here a difference in the unit price. If the unit price is the same for all the employees, for sure we will have just 1 line. But because we have a difference in the unit price, we have 3 lines. And then we can create the invoice. And if we go back to the project overview, now we have the lines in orange because it is now billable time. So it is not my code, but I agree with him. I think we arrive in a new world in which if you don't go really fast, if you don't go faster than your rival, you will not be on the top of the game. So you have to choose a really smooth and really fast system. In one word, for me, Odoo. Thank you. Yes?
The timesheet you created from the help desk directly creates an billable timesheet.
Yeah.
But mostly in help desk, it can be unbillable timesheets. So how can we create unbillable timesheets through help desk?
Yeah. In this case, I have linked the timesheet. Sorry, I have linked the help desk ticket to. I will show you. I have linked the help desk ticket to a project and then to a task, and this task is linked to a sale order item. So for sure there will be a link between this and this. If you don't want to have a billable time for this timesheet, you just have to timesheet on this task, on the ticket, without linking it to a task or without to a task that is linked to a sale order item or without link it to a task not at all. And in this way, you will have just a ticket, and then you can. It is not a billable time.
As I understand, I want to confirm this.
Yeah.
As I understand, if the task has no planned hours, all the timesheets on that task will be shown as unbillable time. Am I right?
The idea here, yeah, the idea here is to link the ticket to the sale order item. The idea is here. If you want, for example, to make a ticket without billable time, you just want to create a ticket without project, without sale order, or for example, to link to the project but without task, so without sale order item. And in this way, you can have the ticket without billable time.
Okay, as a general rule, not only for help desk tickets, but as a general rule, if the task has no planned hours on it, and if we enter timesheets on that task, all the timesheets will be pretended as unbillable time.
Yeah. You can always timesheet on several tasks and several tickets. Yeah, without link them to a project or a server. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes?
I have a question regarding the billing of the sales order regarding to the employees. You have a senior consultant and a regular or junior consultant. These were real employees or are there employee roles? Because we have a company with 100 developers, senior, regular, and we can't do it for each employee. We should do it for an employee role, for example.
Okay, sorry, I didn't understand because yeah.
Okay, I saw you have a senior consultant and
Yeah.
a newcomer. are this employees
Yeah.
or are they employee roles? Because if we have 100 employees, we have to cluster them to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, for sure. The idea is to set the cost per employee directly on the per hour directly on the employee. For sure, if your question what is the question exactly? If
Okay,
you want to,
so for example, we have a project where 2 senior consultants are using the timesheets and billing their times, and 2 newcomers and 3 regular consultants. And and as far as I understand you, I need to put all of them directly in the sales order, each person individually, not to say, okay, this is a task for senior consultants.
you can you can, for example, when you create a sales order, you don't have to put to assign directly the task to an employee. You can just choose a product and choose a unit price per hour or per units for this product. For sure, you can then change this unit price. When, for example, you create a new invoice, you can create this unit price depending on what you have seen on the project. If the questions concerns only the employee, like I have shown now, you can create a sales order and make a mapping between the employee and the project and the service, and say, okay, for this employee, because I have analyzed my projects, and at the end I have seen that for this employee the unit price should be, for example, 100 euros. It is the only way we can handle.
Okay.
But for me, it is really really easy to handle like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. My question is related to, you create a project, you create a sales order, you have your timesheet, and at the end of the month, for example, you create your invoice. And your invoice, you have shown on the screen that you have a timesheet which is on the top right, which is showing what it is. Is it possible, when you send your invoice, to attach this timesheet? Is there a way that the 2 documents are sent together so that you can have an evidence for your customer, for example, attached to the invoice saying, hey, this is my senior consultant, or they've been working 2 hours Monday, they've been working 5 hours Wednesday, something like this. Is it possible?
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it, but it is you have to configure your product maybe in a different way. The way I have explained it today is the way that we usually use in the business world. That means we have a product, and this product is the starting point for a project and for the sale order. And in general, the customer just needs to see, okay, what is the service that I have bought, and not what is the cost per employee and so on. But for sure, you can handle it by configuring the project. The product in different ways, for sure. And you can have a look on the invoice. If you want later, just after this talk, we can see together. You can explain your specific use case, and I can explain you how we can do it.
Thank you.
My question is about subcontracting. How to manage subcontracting in your project? The time passed on the project and the cost.
Yeah, I understand this question. Could you please just specify by giving just one example?
For instance, on a project, I take a freelance.
Okay.
And I want to have a margin survey. And I want to have a look about the purchase order or timesheet time sheeted by my subcontractor.
Yeah. Okay. This is not directly handled in the standard way that we have designed it here in Odoo. But as I have said to the other guy there, we can find a lot of workarounds for this just by choosing the perfect configuration of the product and so on. And in this way, maybe we will also add some several steps before in order to be able to do that. So in the same answer, if you want, you can go, if you come to me after the talk, and I can explain you better in a specific example.
Okay, it's really nice for one project, but what about capacity planning for multiple projects and optimizing, I will say, resource use of your team? Is it possible? And how is it possible?
Sorry, could you just please repeat, because
Yeah, my voice is really not bad.
sorry.
A big part of our job is to maximize the use of our team.
Yeah.
How to make a capacity planning with this and to make sure that everyone is used by and billable by 80% or 95% and so on. How you manage that?
Okay, so if I have
Multiple
understood,
projects.
yeah, you would like to have a look at different projects, for example, for the same customer, or yeah, you can just it's really easy when you. I forget that I have water here.
Oh, I would like some.
When you are on the project overview, here you are in the overview of one project, and then you can, for example, remove this filter in order to have a look at all the project overviews. But you can also here use the filters in order to have a look, for example, on a project overview of this customer and so on. Here in Odoo, we can use this. It is an advanced research in order to make a filter following several parameters, and we can, for example, do it by choosing one customer, one specific customer.
And if we want to make one consultant and see if this consultant is booked for the next 4 weeks,
Yeah.
is it fully booked or not? Is it possible?
If you go to the forecast,
Yeah.
here we can get a view on the forecast per employee or by project. For example, by employee, by consultant. Okay, and here, as I have said in the presentation, we can change the view here. You can make by day, by week, and so on. And here, for example, I see that my consultant in October will work 4 hours. You can get this view. That means by employee. If I have a lot of employees forecasted, you will have several lines, and for each employee, you will have the several tasks at which they are assigned. But you can also have a Gantt chart here. It's the same view, but as you know, the Gantt chart take into account also the percentage of the allocated time. And you can also have a forecast view by project. It is not the same view, but it is the same data. You just take the project, and in this project you have a look at all the consultants that works into it and allocated time.
One last question, maybe.
We have a huge project with more than 1,000 tasks. Is there? Yeah. Is there a quick way to create 2,000 tasks in one project?
Yeah, there is a quick way, but you have to work before. For example, you can if you have all the tasks in Excel file, you can import them. Here you have all the tasks with all the files and so on, and you can here import. You have an import file. You load the file, and if your file is correctly filled, you can import the file with the 2,000 tasks if you want, and in some minutes, in a few minutes, it's done.
Okay, so you have to check the mapping with.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you import data, yeah, it is
Alright.
fine. It is not the scope of our presentation, but in a few words, when you create a file, an Excel file or a CSV file in order to import the data, there is a specific way to fill. There is a lot of columns with all the data that you would like to import, and all the data that you would like to import, this is linked to the form, the task form. So if you click on a task form, you will have several fields here and extra info also. And the way you fill the Excel file is directly linked to those fields. Do you see this field? Okay, I would like to import the customer, the email, the parent task, and so on. And you put them in the Excel file, and then you can import the Excel file.
Okay, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Since you are a bit out of time, you can maybe find Ahmed after during the break that we are doing now.
Thank you.